Okay, so you're about to kick off a new project, and right away you're facing one of the biggest questions in modern web dev. Do you go with classic, trusty JavaScript, or do you level up with its powerful cousin, TypeScript? You know, this one choice can really define your whole development experience, so today we're going to break down exactly how to pick the right tool for the job.
To really get the difference, let's start with a bug that I'm pretty sure every single one of us has stumbled upon. You've got a simple add function. You think you're adding two numbers, but whoops, you accidentally pass in a string. And instead of getting 3, your code gives you back the string 12. It's just a classic sneaky runtime bug that can fly under the radar until it's way too late.
And this is the whole ball game right here. With JavaScript, the code runs, no questions asked, and that bug only shows its face at runtime, when a real user is clicking around your app. But with TypeScript, totally different story. Just by saying your function expects numbers, you've created this awesome safety net. It checks your types before you even run the code and screams at you with a clear error right in your editor. That bug is stopped dead in its tracks.
So how does TypeScript pull this off? Well, the good news is, it's not some brand new language you have to learn from the ground up. The real key is just understanding its relationship to the JavaScript that you probably already know and love.
Honestly, the best way to picture it is that TypeScript is just a superset of JavaScript. It's not a replacement, it's more like an upgrade. It adds all these powerful new features right on top of the language you already use. And at the end of the day, all your TypeScript code just gets compiled down into plain old, super compatible JavaScript that can run in any browser, anywhere. So really, TypeScript is just a tool to help you write that JavaScript better and a whole lot safer.
And you know what's so cool about it? It is so easy to get started. I mean, you can literally take any of your existing JavaScript files, just rename it from .js to .ts, and congratulations, it's now a valid TypeScript file. From there, you can start adding types and features bit by bit at your own speed. It really builds on the skills you already have. It doesn't make you throw everything out and start over.
Okay, so let's get into the secret sauce that lets TypeScript catch all those pesky errors. It all comes down to one core concept, and that is static typing. So JavaScript uses what we call dynamic typing. What does that mean? Well, it means a variable's type isn't set in stone. 1 second it can be a number, and then boom, the next line you can just decide it's a string or an object. Now that's super flexible for sure, but there's a catch. The types are only ever checked when the code is actually running, and that's exactly how those little runtime errors manage to sneak into your production apps. TypeScript, on the other hand, brings in static typing. Here, you actually declare what type your variable is supposed to be from the get-go. And here is the crucial, game-changing difference. Those types are checked before the program even runs, during what we call compile time. It's like having a little proofreader living in your code editor, checking your logic and catching your mistakes before they ever have a chance to become real bugs. The real-world benefits of this are just huge. All of a sudden, your code editor turns into this super-powered assistant, giving you smart autocomplete because it knows the exact shape of your data. It lets you safely refactor things, so you can rename a function across a massive project and not worry about breaking everything. Your code basically documents itself. The types tell you exactly what a function needs and what it gives back. But the most important thing? You catch errors in your editor, not when a customer finds a bug in production. For big, complex projects, this is an absolute game changer. So basic type safety is a massive win. But what happens when you want to write code that's not just safe, but also really flexible? This is where TypeScript really shines with one of its most powerful features, generics. This is the magic that lets you write truly reusable code without ever giving up on that type safety.
It usually starts with a problem we've all had. You write a function to get the first item from an array of numbers. Cool. Then you need one for strings. So you copy, you paste, you change the type. That's duplication, and it's not great. The solution is something called a generic type variable, which we write as capital T. Just think of T as a placeholder for any type. You write the function just once using T, and TypeScript is smart enough to figure out what T actually is every time you use it. The payoff here is huge. One function, one piece of logic that can be safely reused for any kind of data.
And that's really the magic of it, right? You get the best of both worlds. You get all the flexibility to write code that can handle different kinds of data, but you never have to sacrifice the safety and the incredible editor support that static typing gives you. Now, TypeScript sounds amazing, and it is. But let's be real for a second. It's not a silver bullet. Nothing ever is. It definitely comes with its own set of trade-offs, and it's really important we understand them. So let's take a balanced, honest look at the pros and cons here.
This table just lays out the core trade-off perfectly. With JavaScript, the big win is speed and simplicity. There's no build step, the setup is easy. It is fantastic for whipping up a prototype really fast. But that speed can come at the cost of safety as your project gets bigger. On the flip side, TypeScript does ask for a bit more investment upfront. You need a build step, and there's a bit of a learning curve for the type system. But in return, you get a code base that is just so much more robust, easier to maintain, and backed by some of the best tooling on the planet.
So, with those trade-offs in mind, how do you actually make the call? How do you decide? Let's break it down into a really clear framework to help you choose the right tool for your specific job.
This table really brings everything home. See, it all starts with that one difference, dynamic versus static typing. But just look at the ripple effect that one change has. Because TypeScript is static, yeah, it needs a build step. But that same static nature is what unlocks that excellent tooling and high safety refactoring that JavaScript just can't compete with. And that all leads to the final, most important takeaway. JavaScript is built for speed on small scripts and prototypes. TypeScript is engineered for safety and scale in big, long-lasting applications.
So it really comes down to this simple rule of thumb. Are you just knocking out a quick prototype or a little automation script? JavaScript is your best friend. Go for it. But are you building a serious professional application that's going to be maintained for years, maybe by a whole team of developers? TypeScript is almost definitely the better, safer bet. It's an investment, for sure, but it's one that pays off big time with fewer bugs and way easier maintenance down the road.
At the end of the day, the choice isn't really about which language is better. It's about which one is the right tool for the job you have in front of you. So as you're planning that next big project, just think about its scale, how long it's going to live, and the team that's going to be working on it. The decision is yours to make. Which tool will you trust?